So 24 billion records just got leaked. Yes, that is correct. It includes things like usernames, email addresses, plain text passwords, and login URLs. The data appears to come from InfoStealer malware logs or records stolen from infected devices and collected from Telegram channels, breach compilations, and other sources. This is one of, if not the biggest data leaks of all time. This news is being broken by the Cybernews research team, who apparently triple checked their findings to make sure that this is true, because they found over 8 terabytes of data exposed online. This is likely one of the largest databases ever exposed. On June 12th, the vast majority of the 24 billion exposed records, our researchers believe, were InfoStealer logs. In other words, stolen usernames, passwords, and services that these credentials were supposed to grant access to. The credential data leak is dangerous simply because of its enormous size. Since the data leaked online, billions of affected accounts are at serious risk of takeovers, especially if they are not affected by multi-factor authentication. So here's an example of what some of it looked like. Obviously, it's going to be blurred because we don't want that information to get out, but these were the types of things that people were able to see about your accounts online. The records our team uncovered were stored on a publicly available Elasticsearch cluster, a group of interconnected search servers. The total volume of information in the cluster exceeded 8.3 terabytes. The exposed credentials came from 36 distinct sources, varying from Telegram channels to combined data collections of previous data breaches and datasets exported directly from live target servers. Over 1.7 billion records supposedly came from various Telegram channels. All channels appear to be involved in cybercrime, with a focus on stolen credentials and data breaches. Most of the 36 data sources, over 30, are Telegram channels with a number of records ranging from hundreds of millions of exposed records to a few thousand. While most of the channels were English, some were in Russian. So think about the fact that right now we have mass surveillance laws going around the world. All these different countries are trying to go ahead and ban social media, and that is obviously going to be enforced through ID age verification. And yet we have massive data leaks like this happening pretty much every week, and this one being possibly the biggest data leak of all time. Here's a breakdown of the number of exposed records by source name. So 1.7 billion came from Telegram, 146.5 million came from breach compilation combo, 15.8 million from local database dumps, and 22.6 billion came from collection. Another category of Telegram channels includes access to stolen credit card data, with one channel apparently dedicated to sharing this information. Nearly 260 million records came from Telegram channels with DarkSide in the title. Several years ago, DarkSide was among the most prolific ransomware groups. The gang infamously attacked the Colonial Pipeline, causing fuel supply disruption on the US East Coast. These are some malicious douchebags over here. They're not just trying to take usernames and passwords. They're trying to cause mass disruption across the world, and there are obviously going to be people like that that are going to be targeting countries and websites that are collecting biometric data as a part of ID age verification. A staggering 22.6 billion records supposedly came from what the data owner named collections. These records could come from various InfoStealer collections previously leaked online, or they may indicate that the records are grouped by the services they are supposed to provide unauthorized access to. Since the data was taken out of public view soon after the discovery, our researchers could not further investigate the origin of the information within the so-called collection source. The same reason prevented the team from deducing exactly which service providers were exposed. However, given the colossal number of records involved, it's highly likely that they reveal access to services with very large user bases. The team also noticed a source. I mean, think about all this. This is crazy, man. They also noticed a source with 150 million records named, quote, local database dumps. Records from this source likely indicated they were exported directly from live target servers. Local database dumps typically involve downloading the contents of a certain database on a user device. In this particular case, local data dumps could mean the person running the server uploaded records to the collection themselves, or that they got the data from other sources. Additionally, records contained file names from where they were imported. In total, there were at least 195 distinct file names. Another 146 million records came from a source named Breach Compilation Combo, and most likely contained information from past data breaches that exposed user credentials. Attackers favor exploiting information from past breaches, since users often reuse credentials and rarely change passwords. This is why you got to change your passwords. Interestingly, our researchers found a small subset of data, around 17,000 records containing information that's rarely seen in data leaks. For example, over 9,500 documents contained CVE, and which means common vulnerabilities and exposures, IDs, and descriptions, along with corresponding GitHub repository URLs. While we are confident that data leak our team has uncovered indeed contains a whopping 24 billion records, there are limitations to what we know about the data inside the now closed Elasticsearch cluster. At this point, we're also unable to accurately say how old or new the leaked data is. Based on the February 2026 news article contained in the data leak, it appears the data's owner regularly updates the cluster with new information. So this is essentially like an active data leak going on right now, where they are just updating the information they're able to find through getting people's information from email addresses and all that type of stuff. stuff. We also don't know who the data owner is or why anybody would hoard so much data. Our team believes that both a company and an individual threat actor could be collecting such information for various purposes. I mean, there are currently tons of companies in the world trying to collect a bunch of information, so I wouldn't actually be surprised if it was another company. My money's on Meta. Screw Meta. Companies could collect this data for a monitoring service or a security check service, and threat actors could be collecting this data to aid in discovering fresh exploits to help them with data breaches. I mean, after all, why wouldn't they hoard so much data? When it comes to historical leaked data and information on exploits and attacks, the more information you have, the better, as it allows for better insights and helps detect more relevant compromised accounts and ways that a given target could be breached. So what should you do and what should you change, right? And a lot of these tips we've actually said in our videos as well. So first of all, important to be proactive and take some simple but crucial precautions. Users should change reuse passwords as soon as possible, starting with key accounts like emails, social media, cloud storage, and banking. Enabling multi-factor authentication where possible and using password managers to create strong and unique passwords is also a good idea. Users should also be wary of phishing messages that in some cases may advertise assistance to check whether user data was exposed. Meanwhile, a few smart habits and tools can go a long way in protecting your personal data. So essentially, first of all, you should be using a VPN pretty much anytime you access any website. Take it from me, just get some type of VPN. I've still been waiting for some VPN company to sponsor me. My email is in my channel description. Come on now, this would be a perfect time for a sponsorship to be here, but I have none to recommend to you right now. Just try to get some type of VPN and use it, because it is just better to have a VPN than not to have one. Number 2, be careful about clicking on links or downloading attachments from emails or messages you weren't expecting or don't trust. I would take this a step further, right? So pretty much anytime you get an email from anyone that you don't know or trust, don't click any type of anything that they send you, right? I would just immediately trash the message. I mean, you can read it if you want, but just don't click anything in the message, whether it's some sort of video, a link, a picture, nothing, like absolutely nothing in the email. Just don't click any of it at all. Keep your apps and operating systems updated on all devices, since updates often include important security fixes. Yep, that's totally true. And this one is something I've recommended all the time. Turn on two-factor authentication whenever it's available for an extra layer of authentication. I know some people are hesitant on two-factor authentication because they don't want to share their phone numbers with like the companies that they use or websites that they use. Well, remember that there's so many different second phone number apps out there that you can use on the phone or on the computer. Just sign up for one of those. They will give you a second phone number and just use that number as two-factor authentication. It's better than nothing. It will make your account a lot more secure than if you didn't have it. And also, only download apps and software from official stores or trusted websites to avoid fake or infected versions. So again, this is far from the only data leak that has happened recently. Apparently, billions of records are becoming the norm, and we have talked about so many different data leaks on our channel now. I might make a whole playlist just about data leaks that have been happening, and most of them are happening within the last year or two. And if you guys would like to check if your personal information has been exposed to hackers, again, this isn't sponsored at all, just a helpful tool that I found. You can use a website called malwarebytes.com. This is what a link to the website will look like. So essentially, you can use that website, enter in your email, and see if you've actually been exposed in one of these data leaks. If you haven't, I would still recommend changing your passwords and doing two-factor authentication. And like Cyber News was saying, definitely also have a password manager. That's very helpful as well. But yeah, I mean, this is just a massive data leak, and I wanted to talk about it today because obviously it is very related to IDH verification. So many different countries around the world, most specifically right now the UK, are doing social media bans. Tons of countries are following suit, and it's just only a matter of time before everybody's ID is uploaded on the internet. And imagine how bad those data leaks are going to be. We've already had a few with Discord and the T app, but the fact that 24 billion records have been leaked, usernames and passwords, imagine if those were IDs, real names, passports, stuff like that. It's a scary time to be on the internet, but it's also good to be informed. And as long as you keep yourself safe with some of the stuff that we talked about, then you should be okay. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.